What's up, podcast? Before we start today's episode, I just want to make sure that you guys are following and subscribing all of our content at svaofamerica.com/AssistanceHQ. There you can find all of the latest and greatest content, podcasts, articles, and so much more. The link's going to be in the description, so make sure you don't ever miss a piece of content. It's a whole lot of assistance going on. And now, a moment from our sponsor.
What's going on, podcast? Welcome to another episode of The Ramblings. I am your host, Angelo Roberts Jr. We are doing another late night recording because it has been a long day. It's been one of those days that almost feels like two separate days. You ever have one of those days where it's just two separate? It feels like you've done so much. It feels like it's enough for 2 days. So, this getting up early thing is definitely worth it because we were able to work all day. I was able to get so much done for the business. We have a lot of things to talk about, as well as I just got back from door dashing, guys. So it was very slow. It's been a slow door dash. So it's definitely been a long day. Don't forget, if you're listening to this podcast, go online, leave your 2 cents, hashtags Let's Ramble. Let me know what you're thinking and everything. Let me know how your day's been. It's a Monday. It's been a power Monday. So I've yet to get everything officially listed. We're going on week 2 of Flip Life, of hashtag Flip Life, and I have yet to get anything officially listed or even all the way cataloged. So I'm going to be getting that done tomorrow pre. So I just feel like I'm able to get so much done. Like, I was able to get pre-prep notes done. I was able to get a stretch in. Because I got up early. I was able to eat on time. I was able to have a meeting at 8:30, then do my live by 9. Ooh, I got some research done, did some learning. Was able to then go, get some stuff done for my business, stuff done for my business. Got some postings done, some social media stuff. I'm doing my podcast right now, and I was able to DoorDash. So it's been a positive plus day, and we've been progressive. I've been extremely happy with what's been going on. I cannot complain. And at this rate, if I continue at this rate, I am looking at doing well next year. So I understood that this year was a small building year. I completely understood that this year was a building year. And this one particular client could be a jump if this is how it happens. So for those of you that have been following my story, for those of you that haven't, let me kick you guys a kick. For those of you that have been following or haven't been following or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna give a quick catch up. So I got a client over Instagram. That's the catch up. That's the short version that I'm only gonna give you guys. I got a client potential. I keep saying gotting, and that's counting my eggs before they hatch. However, I cannot do that. I'm just very excited for every micro succession that I get, and I don't ignore every micro failure. However, I'm like, okay, it's just a small failure. However, it's just a small win. But the small wins are what you need to keep you motivated, continue going. So I really try to focus on my micro successions, and if I can get this is a really a medium-sized micro session, like succession, because it's bigger than just a regular. It's like a medium succession, and it's because of this is a big ticket client for me technically. There is potentially $1,700 on the board, and I know we've talked about like money and stuff before and potential, but this is like a serious potential. I've already said, hey, you don't got to worry about doing it in large chunks, but if you even do, if it comes to 10 hours every week, that's a good. So she was looking for 15 hours a week, Monday through Friday type of thing. And that for me is $1,700 translated to 60 hours. And here's the thing, I still have, at 60 hours taken up, I still have 90 hours available, not even 80 hours available. I still have 80 hours available for other work to be done, so I can do another 60-hour person a month. Don't forget, this is a month, this is not a week. So this is 60 hours a month is $1,700 a month for me. However, this is only $1,500 a week. At this rate, I can get another person, and if it takes me the same amount of time, I'm now at $3,000 a month. And that's pretty decent money for a solo person right now. And I'm not upset. And that's why I'm super excited, because this big kind of ticket will be able to make changes, so many different changes and adjustments to the business, like getting a consistent ad revenue stream thing going. Hey, let's take $300 a month and run it in one place, like AdZuma or Taboola or something, or one of those professional places, or even just kick it to Facebook ads or marketing and Google and displays and all that stuff. Getting good at YouTube pre-rolls, so getting a great understanding on that, or kick it to stocks, doing forex. A lot of great options on it. However, I need some water. My throat was getting dry. However, it's what you do with what you make, not what you make. And we have all talked about that before. It's what you do with what you make, not what you make. So it's a really big opportunity for me to have a big ticket client like this and be able to now give the business, a breath of life, something official, some officialness and everything. So it's something that I'm really actually extremely proud of, even though it's only a small micro success. So and technically it's our largest client it would be our largest client to date. And I know I said that about the last client. However, that's how we're making progress, because each client should be bigger than the last, but is more valuable or brings something different to the table. And therefore we're making progress with each client, because right now we're very small. So each client is going to be progressive. However, whenever I cap out my max in terms of incoming revenue from that client, that's when things start to get a little spicy. So it's going good. Let's just put it like that. It's going good. And I really would like to attribute this change to this new social media engagement kind of strategy that I've been doing, where I'm just kind of going through areas that are, either related to my field or people that would be potential client kind of people. And then just looking in my area, if you have, the sit down to just look over potential information, and when I say potential information, whatever is pertaining to you. So if you're a flipper, you might be researching for different toys that you can go out and get to flip. If you're me, you might be looking for potential clients and everything. You're going to go on these social media sites and follow, like, engage, and comment with these people. So you're going to do some searching on these social media platforms for people that are in some way, shape, or form somehow related to what you do. And you're going to engage in whatever conversation that they're having. I don't care what it's about. It doesn't have to necessarily be about your industry or anything particular. You just want to engage with those people. That's the important part. Engaging with those people. So that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been implementing this strategy, and it's definitely been working. That's how I got this client. I followed them and they happen to see my stuff. So they see my stuff on Instagram, which means you went through my pictures and everything, because it's kind of hard to know what I do or being a virtual assistant through just looking at the face value pictures of my Instagram. So you really went through, my stuff to see what I did. So, and you liked it. That's the best part. Not only did you comb through to see what was going on, you liked what was going on. So extremely happy about that. It's really about making the necessary effort, because without effort, your intentions don't mean anything, because you're not going to try. You're not trying for anything. So it was a wonderful meeting that we had. I'm not going to go, into detail, because I've explained it in the other podcast and meeting. And when we talked, actually, I recorded a podcast after we talked, I believe. So it's very much about the engagement. And so between her and Gary Vee, I promise you this process works. Just go engage with your community on whatever it is that they're talking about. It doesn't even have to be about, work or different projects or anything of that nature. It could be, what's your favorite TV show? What TV show are they into? Because these are the things that matter when you're trying to grow your brand. So you don't want to just be all sales or all marketing, like we've talked about it. This, during this particular pandemic, now is not the time to be selling. Now is the time to be having a hunker down on caring in your brand and how people feel when they think of you. And we've talked about that. Your brand is about your personal message and how people feel about that message. So it's really, it really works. I got a client, and this is my biggest client to date. So imagine if I double down on this process, and I try to take it from 5 months to getting a client like this to making it in 3 months. So now I can maybe squeeze in another 2 clients like this by the end of the year. Now I'm able to start scaling, and now I may be able to start looking for loans and all this other stuff. But we're projecting great growth this year. And here's the best part: when you're small, every growth is relatively substantial. But it's about the engagement, and you have to stay consistent. If you're not staying consistent, kiss it goodbye. Like, you can have no engagement, right? Because engagement is very important. However, let's say you're a new page and you're starting with no engagement. If you are consistently posting and doing contextualized posts, so the people on the post like the content and like the message, you will have great success in both of those categories. So it's very, very important that you trim it all the way down and stay consistent. Trim the day, trim your life, trim the expenses, do whatever you have to do to make sure that you're able to maintain either your schedule, your environment, whatever has to be done in order to maintain your consistency with whatever you're doing. So, like, I go live every day. I try to do it at 8:45. However, I will make sure that I'm going live every single day. Even if I miss the 8:45 time slot because of work or something, I'm making sure that I'm still going to go live. I went live this morning. So it works. I'm telling you, the process of growing your business and brand from scratch, as long as you're engaging on the social media platforms and then posting 3, maybe 4 times a day. I've been told that's a lot, but Gary Vee says it's not a lot. So let's go with that. Post 3, 4 times a day. Because I say this: if it took me, and I like to use me as a real life example so people understand, what it is to go through. It took me 5 months from the month of January, or let's just say February, when I released the podcast, March, April, May, June, to build a course of 4 followers. That means in 1 month, I get 4 followers on a podcast in a 30-day time period frame. So you really want to stay consistent. You're going to really want to stay consistent. It took me 5 months since I've opened, from January till now, to get a big fish client. So let's just say this continues, right? So in another 5 months, let's duplicate, from January to May. So from January to May, we have the exact same movement as June to October, November. If it does the exact same results, now my client, I will have 1 more big client, which will put me at a great amount operating income for the business. 2, I will have 8 people daily listening to the podcast, and people have been listening to it and maybe growing in terms of the overall number of listens and not necessarily repeat listeners. So I promise you, you have to be patient. This process works, and you got to just put the time. You have to be willing to put the time in. And the more time you put in, the less time it takes to get the output or output. So if you're putting in, 17, 18, 19, 20 hours a day on your craft and your business, it's going to take you a lot less longer to get to where you're trying to go than the person who's doing 15 hours, even 20 hours, 25, and it's just a small side updating job. Hey, I'm gonna update your website for you, without actually understanding the knowledge and the background of the software that you're trying to use. So the process works. I promise you just have to be patient, because I can't stress consistency enough. I have to continue doing my podcast. I have to continue doing, all of my videos and all of my articles and everything like that. So just because I'm starting to make money, or if I start making, or whatever happens, it can't be, hey, yeah, we can't make it out of the mud hole. This was an anomaly. No, I'm showing you guys the blueprint. It's just up to you to follow. I can only bring a horse to water. I can't, force it to drink. I think they should finish that sentence with, lest you be kicked, but that's not my business, It's really about consistency. How does consistency breed engagement or other things? Let's do this. We're using me again as an example. Not the most popular person. Therefore, my lives in the beginning of when I was doing this, or like 0, nothing, nada, nobody. Now, still relatively the same. However, it's 3 or 4 people that now kind of watch it. So if you are consistent with something, even if you have haters, let me repeat. If you are consistent with something and people are haters on what you're trying to do, but you're like, yo, this is my dream, this is what I'm trying to do, then by all means do that and prove them wrong. Because here's the thing, they can't be right. They're making up some image of you based on what someone else has told them, and they are losing out. That's what you have to think. They are the reasons you're losing out, if that be the case.
Hey Ramblers, before you go, make sure you're following us on social media at Assistance HQ across the board for all content and exclusives. And for an even more personal touch, subscribe to our weekly newsletter with the link in the description.